Welcome back, guys. I just wanted to create this little tiny meet episode, I should call it, with Lizzie, as you can see. It's basically about how most of you worried about the competition, right? So what I mean is that so many of you are like, oh man, all these different group classes from F45, Orange Theory, Fit Body Bootcamp, Barry's Bootcamp, Burn Fitness. There are just so many left and right opening up, right? So many new fitness concepts also get funded. So there's just so much money on the market right now, and of course these VCs, just dumping in the money. So they just opening up left and right. But here's the thing: don't worry about that, because the thing is that these fitness studios, they're attracting the clients, or attracting clients that would never be your client if they weren't around. Does that make sense? If not, let me clarify. So these people, let's say they go into Orange Theory, like a regular Mrs. Jones, Susan, these people who are not really into fitness, who is not like one-on-one personal training, electromuscular stimulation, or just not really about improving their body or anything like that, right? It's just they going into these fitness classes because they were dragged in by their fanatic friend who is really into working out, right? So they're like, oh man, this is so cool, we're gonna be in a group with a bunch of other chicks like me, and we're gonna have lots of fun, and look at us, and running around, and all cardio, because all the kind of stuff. But the point is, these are people, especially women, who are just getting dragged in by their friends, and they like it, they tell their other friends, they tell their friends, and it's just this group class environment, right? So you should thrive from it, and don't even worry about it, because they take these clients that are not your clients. Your clients are typically different people. I'll give you an example in our case. In our case, the clients that we are attracting are the ones who actually, let's say, had an injury from some of these group classes, because unfortunately, so many people, like I said, they are not into fitness, so they get dragged into Crossfit, Orange Theory, so many other fitness, workouts, and they have no idea how to do basically a squat, a deadlift, or anything for that matter, right? But they're just getting pushed through because it's a circuit. So they're going around and they just go fast, and eventually they hurt themselves. So there's not much you can do about that, but when that happens, they actually come to us and we are able to fix them up, because we show them how to do it with the right technique. We actually spend time, and that is why we don't even let them, hook on, let's say, our electromuscular stimulation workout until we can actually see that they can do a squat, a deadlift, or whatever the issue is correctly. We analyze their range of motion, the limitations, and so many things. They might not even need to do squats because they're just not built to do squats, or they have some sort of limitation that's preventing them to do it right. Then there's no point to going to these group classes and do squats. Does that make sense? So we can beat a dead horse, right? So the point is just to make sure that when you're worried about your competition next door, just analyze it. Are you benefiting from them? Are they really your clients that they're having? Just because they are humping or bumping, or what I say in English, they are very busy, that doesn't mean they are stealing your clients. You know what I mean? So it's completely different compared to you, because they are completely different clients. And you should be just happy because they're introducing fitness to a crowd that have never experienced fitness before. So be very happy for that. And then lastly, I'll give you an example. Let's say CrossFit. CrossFit is all about performance, right? They almost athletes, they want to get beaten down. They just really want to push hard, and they want to prove their friends that they are good, right? So those people, when they come in here, of course we can refer them to CrossFit. That's what you need, especially if you can do your lifts right. And then they go there, and vice versa. If somebody goes to CrossFit and they realize that CrossFit is not for them, then they're gonna come here. Or if they get hurt, they're gonna come here. And it just goes back and forth, hand in hand. So I don't know, I shouldn't say I don't know, but don't think about, because I understand where you're coming from, but don't think about the competition, really competition. Instead, reach out and work with them. Find out what's their client, find out who is your client, and then work together, because that way it becomes like a referral. So you can, let's say, give an example, you can work with a CrossFit gym and then tell them, this is my clientele. If you came across some of those people, I only work with females, so if you came across from females, because it seems like that your gym is full of males and testosterone and lifting heavy weights, then send over those females, because that might be a bad fit, and then they might gonna end up leaving you a one-star review because you took somebody as a client who shouldn't be your client. Do you guys get that? So there's so many gyms that are like all about testosterone, all about lifting heavy, all about men, right? So imagine if Mrs. Susan goes into the studio, and then all of a sudden like, oh, it smells like sweat, it smells like testosterone, all these heavy weights, everybody's screaming, right? Yeah, that's not the right match. So now, because you talk to that gym, who is their clientele, that gym owner is gonna be like, oh, Mrs. Susan, I would love to take you, but it's just not ours, not my expertise, or whatever, you know, come up with a story for them, and then all of a sudden, I can refer you to this other studio called For You Fitness that will be definitely for you, because they take the time and they have clients just like you. And then Mrs. Susan, come over here. Mrs. Susan loves this way better. They feel like a home away from home, and it's females only. So now all of a sudden Mrs. Jones, or Mrs. Mrs. Jones, I guess that's the right way to say it in English, all of a sudden is happy, and I say, oh, thank God I'm here. The other way around, let's say a big guy comes in here who's all about testosterone, wants to lift heavy and listen to heavy metal, right? Which we don't play here, unfortunately, but unfortunately at the same time, just on our clientele. But sometimes we do. But anyways, the point is, you see my point. So they come in here, you know, with the facial washes, the hand towels, the rose water, the cold eucalyptus towels, and all this extra care, right? And then they're gonna be like, man, where the hell am I? And then we tell them, well, here's the thing, you know, this is for Mrs. Jones's, so I would recommend that you go to the CrossFit gym down the street, where they all about lifting heavy and blah blah blah. And now all of a sudden I refer somebody there. Do you see how you guys can live together with another gym just like you, even though it's completely different from you? From the outside, yes, it's a gym and it's sort of competition, but don't compare apples to apples, because they are not. So just reach out, look at your Google Maps, reach out to all the gym owners and be friendly, find out who is their clientele, and work them together in synergy, and I guarantee you all of you going to end up making more money and end up helping more people than you think. That's my tip for you today. Hope you take action on it.